Yes. Yeah.
Okay, hi everyone, and thank you for being here today, as well as to those joining us through Zoom. And welcome to our presentation about our final solution, which we have called Hur är läget? And we will go into it shortly, but first we thought we'd present ourselves, basically. So, starting with Barbara.
Yeah, so hello everyone, my name is Barbara, I'm coming from Slovakia and I'm studying here over planning.
And my name is Evelina. I'm from Sweden. I study media technology and user experience design at Södertörn University.
I'm background is dermatologist mainly, and I finished my PhD in Karolinska Institute and now almost doing a postdoc.
And my name is Hugo, and I study urban and regional planning at Stockholm University.
And I'm Peter. My background is that I'm a nurse studying health informatics at Linné University.
My name is Bhavani and I'm studying UX design at Södertörn University.
And just very quickly going through the content for today, we're first going to talk about the original challenge we got and how we redefined it. Then going into our process and methods, which led to our insights. Quickly about some other concepts that we dabbled with in the beginning. And then finally, the final concept, which is Hur är läget?
And in English?
In English, it's how are you, or a slang for what's up.
So our project is about young people's well-being and mental health. And our challenge giver, Region Stockholm, they gave us the challenge. First, how can we get to know more about what young people consider important for promoting mental health and well-being, their needs and key factors? And second, what does mental health and well-being involve for the age group? So here the focus was on how to collect data. And we rephrased this to how can we understand young people's well-being by co-creating, empowering, and open spaces. Meaning we moved the focus to promotion rather than data collection. And we did this as we gained more insights. So we saw a need for empowerment with knowledge. We saw a need for co-creating for the possibility of defining individual well-being, but also to move away from a top-down governmental approach by open spaces, which can be a physical or digital place or a time. And here I will briefly walk you through our design process to give you some background. So we looked at the initial challenge through the eye of the target group by surveys and interviews, in-depth interviews and street interviews. It's here in the beginning. And then we redefined the challenge and brainstormed some concepts and prototyped them and tested them. And then we chose one of the concepts and we go through the process one more time. So it's an iterative process. We explore the problem with an open mind and then narrow it down to a focused action back and forth. which the diamonds are illustrating.
Okay. Building on the diversity of our target group because the range is from 15 to 29, so we got a lot of insights. For example, some of them need more information about well-being, and they prefer to receive this information through direct contact with people. For example, well-being ambassadors, or through social media, and also. They wanted, some of them wanted to meet in person and also to socialize. And when they thought that exercise, eating good food, contribute to well-being, and also walking, socializing, relaxing home, making them well. And most of them wish they have wish for having more accessible activities and spaces in Stockholm, virtual or physical, and so the viewpoint of young people is required and must be considered.
Based on those insights, we came up with 5 ideas, in which we decided only one idea to go further. And these are the 4 ideas we left behind. The first one is the knowledge bus. The main idea is to create awareness about well-being. And we didn't proceed with this because it is focusing on very small user group. And the second one is the festival tent, where we put one well-being tent in festivals. This concept was not selected as it is very seasonal and people are skeptical to go to the well-being tent. And the third one is the activity portal, where people can book activities for their well-being. But it is difficult to gain user trust. And then the final one, the well-being container, where people can bring a container for well-being activities in their neighborhood. But this was including many stakeholders and other municipalities. So we thought to left it behind, as it is not practically possible to follow with this. And the final concept, we decided to go further. It's the well-being box.
Yes, so as Bhavani said, halfway through this whole process, we had 5 concepts, and this was the 5th one we decided to move forward with. Our original idea was to have a well-being box with items being given or sent to young people for them to think about their well-being and send things back as a way of understanding them. So that was inspired by things as Lina Smart Kasse and other like boxes and services. And we got feedback on this, that people would actually use this. Young people thought, from a big diversity, thought they would use it. Other feedback, positive feedback, why we chose this was that it was fun, that it was non-digital. It was fun with something tangible, with items. And yeah, so we went, that's why we chose this one. And from this original idea, we of course also got some negative feedback or constructive feedback. Things that it was wasteful with a lot of items being sent to everyone. It was lack of incentive to send things back for the receiver. So all this we take in consideration and did new process of brainstorming, sketching. We used this feedback, did some analysis of its strengths and weaknesses and change to the concept Läget. And we will explain in detail, but first, just explain, as Hugo said, that hur är läget means how are you, or what's up. It's like a non-formal way of saying how are you, and that's why we chose it. We chose it to have a question. So when you see this brand in our campaign, it makes you also maybe think and reflect on how you actually feel. We thought of it to use this heart as it connotes well-being. So we created and want to show you a video that's a kind of introduction to the concept and to the branding to set the emotional tone.
As a young person, it's hard to know what affects your mood. But there are ways to get to know yourself and your well-being better. The Läget campaign have the tools for you. With the well-being box, you pick items of your choice that will help you navigate your feelings, relax your mind, and find support in everyday life. A journal for writing down your thoughts, art material for creative expression, vouchers for you and your friends to go socializing, or tools to provide comfort when you need it the most. You decide. The Läget campaign will help you to get to know yourself and to take control of your well-being. What is important for your well-being? Start your journey to a happier, healthier you.
So based on what Peter said, now it's more importantly, as you can see on the screen, all the process. The process consists of the three parts. As you can see, it's getting the envelope, then it's further on website and the box. The idea is like firstly get the envelope, which would be ideally distributed by Region Stockholm to certain targeted group. Our idea, or one of the idea, might be that the targeted group might be young people who are having or they're reaching age of 18. Then those who will be interested in this campaign, Läget, those further can co-create and order a box on the website. We would like to emphasize here the website might be one of the sources of data collection, which we will go further. Next slides, we will explain it more in detail. But yeah, collection, and finally, after website, there is box, like there is option, or there is this idea of ordering a customizable box. So now let's have a look closer on each step and a step of the process. So to begin with the envelope phase. So we tried to design it in a very non-traditional way, as it should make it stand out. And also we would suggest that envelope should feel more personal and more handmade, as in contrast to these institutional letters, which didn't, as we found out in our insights, didn't work previously. Then why is it introductory envelope? We thought also, more importantly, it's taking into account the sustainable aspect, which we consider that sending box immediately to all of them won't work. So that's why we would like to proceed at the beginning with the envelope phase. The envelope should consist, as you can see on the screen, some candies, some stickers, but mostly because also the envelope should bring awareness, so kind of information and booklets, some kind of information about well-being, and etc. But also, lastly, most important, the QR code and details for websites, then when the young person can scan it and go further. Yeah, the website. As you could see, we also prototype website. It's a real-time website which we made. If you are interested, you can go directly now. It's below.perner.com, where it's the base for user. It's prototype definitely, but it's based for user interaction with the campaign well-being, as well as further information about how can they order a box. The idea or the logic behind is to firstly fill in a survey because the survey is the main kind of idea of getting data. It was initial challenge and how the region Stockholm was struggling with. So it was like the first step is filling the survey and then order customizable box. Also, there are another sources how we can get the data, and we would like to emphasize, for instance, the signing up button and its strongest. But then we'll go in next slides further on.
And here's another example, more wide of how the website looks right now. And finally, then the final step is the box, and this should be seen as the main point of the campaign. And just going through a bit about how we've thought about content. Firstly, we can say that we want everything that's in the envelope to also be in the box, and maybe even more in depth booklets and information about well-being and mental health. And then we have divided it into mandatory and selectable items. So the mandatory items, we've thought about items that promote your mental health and well-being. So for instance, a water bottle to help remind you to drink water. Here we also wanted to include a tote bag with the logo on, but that's more for awareness purposes and spreading the campaign, of course. And then to the selectable items, and we have divided this because we've heard during the process from our users that, well, we've understood that well-being is different for everyone. And so, so in an effort to reduce waste, we have this element that you can select items that you would like so that it isn't thrown away, basically. And a few examples of this, which we have heard from our users, is candles, mindfulness exercises, discounts on physical activities, recipes, and card games. But again, here, the list can be very long. And so moving on, this is a part of us trying to reduce waste in this concept. And we think a lot about environmental sustainability. And another aspect of this is that we want the box to come in reusable packaging. And so, for example, it could be a pot to plant seeds in, so you can keep the box in your apartment after you've unpacked everything. It could also be a box where you put away your phone if you want less screen time. And finally, we have a few unfinished ideas for future possibilities, basically, of the campaign. And we'd like to share some of these today. So firstly, throughout the process, we've thought a lot about social media as well and how this can be incorporated into the campaign. And here we think that it's basically a two-way sharing where the owners of the campaign can share information about it, as well as the users can share what they think of the campaign and maybe show what they've unpacked and so on. Then a design contest for design students, which will bring in even more of this element of co-creation into the campaign. We have also thought that collaborations are very important to get in here. And so to collaborate with both the public and private sector as well as healthcare. And one idea we have here is to have periodic collaborations basically, so that different organizations can come in and design the box and the entire campaign so that you can bring up different themes related to mental health. And finally, the weakness that we saw in our solution is the social aspect. So we also thought about connecting different types of events to this so that people who want to socialize can have an element of interaction and socializing as well. And so in very brief summary, we've had a lot of fun developing this solution, and we think it is a very valuable solution that can also be further built upon. So thank you for listening today.
Thank you